All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening.
Good evening and welcome to the FE Bar. I'm your host, Jack George Manor, and joining me as ever is the one, the only, the Mr. Jack Pickering. The season is done. It's over. What are we going to do now? And it was delight for Cassidy. 2 wins in a row for him in London, but misery for Mitch Evans as he feels the team let him down in London. Why can't Jaguar seem to get it right? Porsche became Team and Manufacturers champions as well over the weekend, and we'll be asking if Verline finished third in a 2-horse race. Remember that we can't do this show without you, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and the ! Discord in the chat, and you come and join us. Come and join us. We're going to try and get as many people as possible. We know loads and loads of you were at the race. If you're at the race, not at the race, get in. We want to talk to you. We've got 2 hours. Let's do this. Mr. Pickering, have we recovered from the weekend?
No, I want to go to bed. Again, it would be the 3rd time today that I will go to bed. It was a long weekend. It was a fun weekend, and the thing is, I love it. I love it so much, and when I'm not there, I miss it, and especially when I see all you guys in stories in Berlin and everything like that, and I look at it and go, I wish I was there. And
Yes.
I got to be there this weekend with everyone, and it was great. And yeah, it's so fantastic. And yeah, I think we got some solid races out of it as well. So yeah,
I did.
Back in my happy place.
I think we did. We're going to try and keep the energy high, me and Pico, because we have been running on limited hours sleep.
Somewhat, yeah.
Limited hours sleep.
You see the bags under me eyes.
We're kind of looking, and we've got an announcement which we're going to share in a couple of minutes. But just some housekeeping rules. Remember, ! Discord. So if someone can put ! Discord in the chat, and if you want to come and join the amazing Formula E community that we have, please do. And if you want to come and talk to us and have your say on the weekend, the championship as a whole, anything that you want to say tonight, you can. Before we get to the announcement, we're going to do one segment, and then we're going to do the announcement, and then we're going to take your calls. And I'm going to start with Cassidy, right? Now, I know I've said, and I'm going to stand by it here, and I feel like I sound clever, but I know Roland's just won the championship, but I think Cassidy is the best driver on the grid, and I think, again, he kind of proved it over the weekend in London. However, we got to talk about Jaguar. And I know James Barkley, I know he looked really happy. Of course he'd be really happy. He's won 2 races, and I know he's outgoing. And it's hard to be critical of James Barkley on his last weekend, but Jaguar historically have really struggled to manage 2 cars. And obviously Evans qualified on pole in the race, and then we managed to not win it, which was weird that they gave the priority strategy to Cassidy and kind of caused Evans to fall down the race. And then in the second race, there seems to have been a delay in telling Mitch when his penalty was, and they had the opportunity to swap cars, allow Mitch to run away with it, and then potentially get a 1-2 or 1-3 maybe, and they didn't happen. So as much as we love James Barkley, he is the team principal and he has been running it at the helm. I feel like the question deserves to be raised.
Yeah, I mean that's completely fair. The fact that Karun in commentary called arguably a better strategy for the team, yeah, it shows a lot. But also, I don't think Mitch was actually quick enough in that second race.
No, I think I would agree with that.
He ended up, 13 seconds off the win.
With similar energy.
Yeah, he had a couple % less, so obviously he had to conserve a little bit more. But
he did end up on par, but then was still losing time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, I was like, I feel for Mitch, and he did say he has a bit of PTSD about London and it not going his way, and obviously the 2 of them last season in London, that was where the championship was decided and they went terribly wrong, and it's gone.
It didn't go his way at all this year either, because he started on pole for race 1 and ended up being spun by Tictum, and ending up P10.
Yeah, it was down in P10.
Yeah, and then obviously the 5-second penalty, short second on the road.
Yep.
But ended up P5. So, like, the thing is, the last few races of this season, I mean, Mitch has been actually really, really good. He had that win in Berlin, and he was on pole for the Saturday race, and when I spoke to him on Sunday evening after the second race, he seemed like, even though he was annoyed about everything that happened in that race, Jaguar have won 5 of the last 6 races, which is phenomenal, and so he is fairly optimistic going into next season. I was going to make another point and I forgot.
Yeah, I remember, because I was at the interview with Nick Golding. So Nick Golding, obviously the media pen was such a scrum in London that me and Nick, and thank you for him, and we'll be with him at 9 o'clock later. We started, and you could tell that he wasn't happy with the strategy, and he felt like he could have won, the Saturday race. He really felt that he should have won that Saturday race, and it was a problem that they didn't. Right, we're going to start taking your calls. But first, we've got an announcement, Mr. Pickering. Finally, finally.
I wanted to tell people who came to the.
We decided we didn't, because we wanted to give fair chance.
No. You decided.
I did decide.
We shouldn't.
Well, I am the boss.
I was, and so dictator George Maynard over there decided that we
no democracy here. No democracy.
We had to wait.
I run it with an iron fist.
He does.
No, that's not true. But we do work together well as a team, and I must admit, I think we did really well in London, and I think we've got a lot of exciting content, which we're really, really, really looking forward to showing you over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That we've got, so we did work really well together. It was a really great weekend for us.
I'm really looking forward for you guys at home to see what we've done this weekend. And yes, you will be aware of what we've done, because we haven't really kept it sort of under wraps about what it is.
To see the final product.
To see the final thing, you guys are gonna love it.
We hope so.
Yeah, they will be scattered across over the next.
I feel like I should have got some drum rolls.
And Ed's working fantastically on it at the moment. So yeah, big up for Ed.
Yeah. I feel like I should have got some drum rolls for this announcement. Well, we have been working on this for about a month and a bit now to get. Actually, this has been a year. This has been a year in the making. To be honest with you, it's just.
I can't remember if I mentioned it to the.
It's been.
How do I say this without giving it away? I think I was trying to work on it in Madrid as well.
Yeah.
I think it's been that long.
It's been that long. In the making. But thankfully, something happened. Something happened that allowed this to happen, and we're gonna share with you right now. Drum roll, please.
Keep Thursday night free.
Keep this Thursday night free, because you lot will be having your chance to speak to Mr. Scott Elkins, the former race director of Formula E. Scott Elkins will be joining the show on Thursday, 8 o'clock. Taking your questions this Thursday, the 31st of July. Scott Elkins. Let's get some love in the chat, by the way. Let's get some messages. Let's get some party balloons. Let's get some stuff. Scott Elkins.
I've got party poppers downstairs. You should have told me beforehand. I would have just let one off in the room.
You would have to have cleaned up the mess. But yeah, exciting times. We've got Scott Elkins.
Do you know what? When we get Nick on at 9, I'll get one then, and as soon as you announce him, I'll just do the party.
Yes.
No one tell him. Hopefully he's not watching.
Indeed. Right. Let's take some of your calls, and we have a first-time caller in the chat, so I really want to get them in. I don't know how to say his name. I think it's Mazur Khan. We're gonna get Mazur Khan into the show and get his thoughts. Mazur, you should be able to hear us. Fingers crossed. You need to unmute yourself. We'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Oh, he's brought himself back in. I don't know. We'll try it one more time to see if we can get him in. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Welcome to the FE bar.
Sorry, I'm having some audio problems. Can you wait 1 minute?
Well, we'll give you a second, but we can hear you loud and clear. Hopefully, you can hear us loud and clear.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Welcome to the FE bar. What would you like to say?
Well, I like to say that firstly, when I was looking into the Wikipedia page, Formula E list of champions,
Yep.
they haven't updated the team's championship list yet.
On Wikipedia?
Yes.
Well, you can do that. Anyone can do that.
Okay. that was irritating.
Unless it's locked. Otherwise, I think.
I think its editing is differently locked. It's loaded. But
it's only been 24 hours, so.
Yeah, it's only been 20. It will take time to update that list. But yeah, I like to look at the stats and the different championships. It's this series I've been like watching for about a decade, I would say.
So you've been doing it a very long time, just as long as me, pretty much.
Yeah, about like a decade ago. It aired in like Bangladesh, I remember, on ESPN TV live, and there were these electric cars. I can't remember the street circuit they were in, but those were Gen 1 cars, front wing arches, rear wing fins. I remember that. And the Gen 2 cars, during the Gen 2 era, they used to stream on YouTube. So I kind of like became interested, and it was around the same time I was studying my bachelor's in electronic engineering. So
nice.
That was like what was kind of like interesting to me, correlation between Formula E and my engineering studies. But yeah, yesterday I was watching the race.
Yep.
I was a bit devastated with the Jaguar strategy on how they treated Mitch Evans. Like I understand that the 5-second time penalty during four course YOLO for overspeeding was kind of Mitch's fault, but then Jaguar did not inform him until several laps later. So during the time when Evans was imposed a time penalty, he was not informed.
Yep.
He wasn't aware. So in my opinion, Jaguar have amplified the PTSD on Mitch Evans racing in London. And remember, next year they will again be racing at the Excel circuit, maybe even if it's for the final time.
Yep.
And if he's on a championship decider, there will be that psychological issue that Jaguar might miscalculate again, because it's happened already twice now.
Yeah.
Almost 3 times if you even add in season 9 with Nick Cassidy was at Invasion.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. It could easily have a mental block. I find it funny. I think because the only reason I can think to why Jaguar did what they did is because if you remember on the radio, they were talking about fighting it and fighting the penalty.
Fight for what? I mean, yes, for the second. Yeah, they notified the FIA to challenge that he's not to be penalized. That's something that I've seen teams do from the paddock, but it still is a lost cause when you think if it's a penalty imposed.
Mm-hmm.
I would say whether they are confident or not of challenging it, they should inform the driver on the moment. The fact that Mitch was uninformed during those middle few laps completely jeopardized it added to the frustration to what Mitch was in the heat of a race.
Yep. No, for sure. I think, as I said, Pico's right. I don't think in whole, like, he deserved the win. I know he had a 5-second penalty, but Jaguar could have orchestrated something to try and, they were running 1 and 2. And I do think that they wasted a lot of time trying to fight, because obviously, and they said this in the commentary, it's a black and white penalty. You've either oversped or you haven't, right? So
exactly. I'm surprised that Jaguar actually thought of challenging this. I've seen races for a long while now, even though I haven't been in person. I could tell that those are situations that you should not like challenge especially if it's just black and white. It's no gray area for you to challenge on.
Yeah.
It's either you overspeed or you underspeed. If you overspeed, if the FI stewards detect it, you're penalized.
Correct.
It's like straightforward. You know your technology.
Yep.
You have the data sheet. So why with constant proof you suddenly try and challenge it? It's not going to salvage you anything. So at that point they should have informed Mitch that okay, you have the 5-second penalty. We can't guarantee you a 1-2 finish. Try to neutralize. Try to like let Nick go through. And Mitch would have, even if Mitch would have been frustrated, in my opinion, he would have still complied and understood that it would have his fault. But now that Jaguar screwed him up in the middle of the races, it's not fully his fault, and he's still traumatized with PTSD. Come London next year, it's gonna be spicy what Jaguar is going to do in the next season again, because they have if it goes into a title decider, and I tell you what, if Mitch is in contention, he's gonna have deja vu moments, constantly thinking that Jaguar has done this to me twice, even though I'm the lead driver.
The only caveat is go on,
Sorry,
Pico.
Jack. I'm just. I can't remember if it was you who said this, Jack, but also someone said it to me yesterday, and I think it's just because tired. I can't remember, but someone said now that James Barkley's gone, we're assuming that
Nick
Ian
Golding,
James
I have a feeling.
Yeah, it might be Nick. He's going to slot into that team. Is it going to be because it's kind of been Mitch's team throughout the entirety of Jaguar, and Cassidy's kind of rewritten that a little bit. That the team in the past have sort of like bend over backwards to help Mitch.
And that won't happen anymore.
Will that still happen now?
The question is, right? The question is who is in that second seat? Now, there's names, right, that have been tossed around. Everything at this precise moment we believe is hanging on Antonio Felix da Costa, and if he decides to stay at Porsche or go to Jaguar, right? Now, if he stays at Porsche, the names that I have heard that are touted for this seat, I don't think are at the same level as Mitch Evans, right? This is you've got drivers touted like Jake Hughes, Stoffel Vandoorne. Now, I know Stoffel Vandoorne's a champion.
I think Stoff is not far off,
right?
I think it's close. If I were to put them head to head, I'd probably give it to Mitch, but I'd say Stoff would give him.
But unless Stoff can come out of the dark, because as much as we like Stoff, he hasn't done much since he's won his world championship.
Gen 3.
Since he's won his world championship, he hasn't done much. So he might be a solid driver and who will pick up decent points, similar with Jake Hughes, which may allow Mitch to be that team leader, and therefore this Jaguar at the moment doing their thing and mucking up team strategy because they've got two number one drivers might go away. So maybe Major, that will sort of help Evans maybe if he is in a position where he could be ahead of his teammate.
There's also, I don't know if you have heard, but I read somewhere that former McLaren team principal Ian James, when McLaren is outgoing, he's probably touted to be the replacing team principal at Jaguar. Do you think, here's my 2 cents, do you think that if Ian James comes in, that can tempt Jaguar to sign Stoffel Vandoorne, because Vandoorne raced under Ian James as Mercedes. So there's your Vandoorne candidate right there. Connection.
Yeah, that is your connection.
There's your link. And I was thinking that when I thought about, when I read that Ian James could possibly be team principal, Ian James might be tempted to bring in Vandoorne.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, you raced under me for Mercedes. Now I've lost McLaren. Come and race with me for Jaguar and give Mitch a run for his money.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I love Mitch Evans. I love Nick Cassidy. I love the two New Zealand drivers.
Yeah.
And I every time on the comment section, people talk about Portland 2024. I was like, please don't talk about Portland 2024. I will never forget that day when Cassidy
spun
on during the Portland race 1. I was having my dinner. I was like, praying to God that I think Cassidy's got it, and then the penultimate
Yeah.
lap, he spun. Evans front wing chipped off by Jake Hughes' McLaren, unfairly given a penalty. And again Jaguar, and back then when I remember that Portland race 1, Hughes was ahead of Mitch, and I think coming down, I can't remember which chicane it was. I mean I know which chicane it was, so I can't remember the turn number, but his rear wheel chipped Mitch's front wing, and the stewards imposed a 5-second time penalty. And again, Jaguar were like informed him, and the nightmares began. That was when the big fall off for Jaguar happened with the drivers' championship.
Yeah.
And again, like it's happened multitude of times in key moments. They can't seem to hold on to crucial moments when it really matters. Like you will see them dominant at times when it's building up, but when it's crunch time, when it's like the decider or like the ultimate moment of trying to seal the fate of the championship, they have always slipped, and it like baffles me how many times they've done it. They've done it in multitude.
Yeah, I agree. I massively agree. We've run out of time though. Thank you so much for your call, and also thank you so much, because obviously if you're in Bangladesh, you've stayed up well into the.
No. I mean, I currently I'm in Italy now.
You're in Italy now. Okay, it's not too bad. Not too bad.
I'm on time.
You're on time.
I'm just
good.
1 hour. I'm just 1 hour
ahead.
ahead.
You were calling from Bangladesh because when you mentioned it earlier, I was like, oh.
No. I came here to study my master's in.
Oh, lovely. Do you reckon a future in, just before I let you go, future in Formula E potential for you, electrical engineer? Is that the dream?
Oh, that's a far-fetched dream.
Never know,
wow, I wasn't expecting that question from you, Jack.
Wait, it's only because you said that's what you were studying, so I thought go 2 and 2 electrical engineering.
No. I study something. I study my Master of Science degree in mechatronics engineering.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be graduating hopefully by this year. But what I study is very much the core of what that car is made of. Very similar, because we study about electric vehicles and electric vehicle technology, and a lot of manufacturers outsource their R&D facility. I work in the mechatronics prototyping facility. It's called PROM facility. It's funded by Trentinos Filippo. That's where I currently work now as a collaborator, technical researcher, and there I do programming and microcontroller embedded systems, a lot of which is at the core of the powertrain of that car.
Yeah. Wow, really interesting. I feel like you've sold yourself short there. That dream could definitely come true. But you've been an absolute brilliant caller. Make sure you come back on whenever you can.
Okay, I will. Right. I will. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Perfect.
Looking forward.
Looking forward. So, we're going to get Tobias Wirtz in from eFormula News, eFormula DE, because he's in the chat room and he wants to talk. It's kind of an ad hoc one. I might try and get his lower third sorted as quickly as I possibly can, if I'm even allowed to. So we're
I bring Toby in?
We're going to give. I've already done that, but I will try but I have no idea how this is going to work. But we'll go. Hello, Toby. Are you in?
Hi, Jack. Yeah, I'm there.
Good. I'm hoping that this is all working while I'm currently working on your lower third.
While Jack focuses on your lower third, what were your impressions of Wetherspoons?
Yeah, we got thrown out. That was my impression.
Brilliant. For contact people watching, we took Toby and his colleague Timo to Wetherspoons in the O2 on Saturday night and had a couple of drinks. So yeah,
it was nice. I enjoyed it.
What did you make of? Well, let's talk about London then. We were talking about the Jaguar strategies. What do you make of what's happened and so forth?
I don't know what to say, to be honest. The strategy, especially on Sunday, was absolute confusing from my point of view. They should have been knowing that Mitch will lose P2, even P3, P4, maybe P5. But yeah, I'm not sure if they did care about it, because after what happened to the Nissan drivers, they were on P2 in the teams championship and on P2 in the manufacturers championship, even if they would lose the second position of Mitch. So I think they just wanted to make sure that Nick wins the race, and so they will have enough points to be on P2 in manufacturer and teams championship.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they didn't tell Evans when they told Evans like a couple bits late, and they did tell Cassidy once, and then Cassidy seemed like he was on board in terms of, you know, doing the switch, but then he ended up driving away, getting the fastest lap, and then one thing led to another, and he kind of just drove away and won it quite superbly.
Yeah, especially in London, it's quite difficult to overtake without 350 kilowatt. And all the drivers directly behind Mitch were out of attack mode. So from my point of view, it shouldn't have been a problem to tell Nick to let Mitch pass and give him an advantage of maybe 4.5 seconds, and finish in P1 and P2 in the end. That I was absolutely sure that they will do exactly this strategy to have both drivers on the podium. But I was really surprised they didn't.
Okay, so you came on. We didn't actually discuss because I didn't know if you were going to come on. What specifically would you like to talk about from what happened in London?
Wow. There were so many things happening. I think Dan Ticktum will be a topic for some of the other people later. Sam Bird will be a topic for other people too. Let's talk about the championship for Porsche.
Let's go for it.
I'm German, so that's a
Makes
specific
sense.
topic for me.
That was very good. True. I know that was the second. We've talked about the Jaguar thing, and that was what was coming up next. So well done. Yeah, Porsche winning the manufacturers and the teams championship. Obviously, massively important for them.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, Oliver Rowland was so dominant in the first 11 races of the season. Yeah, I have to say it that way. So he was constantly on the front, so they had no chance to win the Drivers' Championship. But I would say Porsche did not win the titles in London. I'd like to say Nissan lost both titles in London by not scoring any points. And yeah, that's something they have to work on.
I feel like they were Porsches to lose. I feel like they were Porsches to lose on Nissan. And yeah, Nissan didn't help themselves. And I think your point that you're about to make is about Nominato potentially staying in that car for next season. And yeah, he kind of needs to up their game, because that's the problem. You know, Porsche, Wehrlein finishes third, Da Costa finishes fifth. So, you know, the driver doesn't, but it's just that consistency has won them that championship.
Absolutely. And yeah, Nominato, he didn't have a good season. Of course, he had some bad luck. For sure, in Miami, he was crossing the finish line first. Should have get 25 points, but was penalized for not using all of his attack mode because of the safety car that came out quite late. That was bad luck, to be honest. But if you take a look at the results of the whole season, Norman was not quick enough, and he was constantly too slow. In London, yeah, he scored some points, okay, but what P9 and P11 is not enough to become team champion, I think.
Yep. But to be honest though, Nissan did struggle. I know Roland was having a good race and was up to third place and was attacking before his accident, but you know, the Nissans did seem to be on the back foot in London.
Yeah, they didn't have the strongest package in London. Of course, that was Jaguar. Second strongest package I'd like to say was Porsche. Yeah, and then Stellantis versus Nissan for the third strongest package, and yeah, then you have Oliver Rowland. Oliver Rowland is really good reading those complicated races. He's very aggressive, but sometimes this is a bit risky.
Yeah.
And so it went on Sunday. Yeah, I don't know why he was complaining about Nico Müller moving under braking or something like that. To be honest, that's bullshit. He braked much too late before turn 1. He left the track and then rejoined the track and kicking Nico Müller off. Yeah, that's not a move of a world champion, to be honest. And the grid penalty for Sao Paulo is, in combination with just one penalty point, a really low penalty. Should have been more, from my point of view, compared to other crashes that have been this season.
Yep.
Especially, I got the feeling he did it on purpose.
Yep. I will apologize for your language.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just, I wanted to move on to the manufacturer's trophy, and maybe you might know more than me than this. This is what I'm asking you. Apart from pride, what do the teams potentially get out of the manufacturer's championship? Because I don't know if they get any extra incentive to money, because obviously we're going into next season when Nissan are just themselves, and we've got these 6 Porsche cars effectively with the 2 Andrettis, the Cooper Kia rows and so forth. And one, it'll be a slightly imbalanced next season, but 2, instead of getting these teams racing each other, let's say the Cooper Kiras, Andrettis, they work together. Now, I got a small issue with that because I feel like that breaks the spirit of racing. What are your views? First, go to the point of what do these teams get from winning these championships, and maybe explain why it's important, but is it against the spirit of racing in your opinion?
Okay, difficult. I don't think the teams, the manufacturers get something more than pride from it. They have an official FIA World Championship title, what they can use in marketing, for example.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think they will get money for it, or much money.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is, you have to remember why this manufacturer title was introduced. It was introduced because in Season 9, customer teams were better than works teams.
Yep.
So the customer teams had something they could celebrate.
Yep.
But the company that built the powertrain had nothing to celebrate. Yeah, when Envision got team champion and
Yep.
Jaguar had nothing to celebrate in this season.
But
so they introduced it as a trophy for season 10, and then with together with the FIA as an official world title in season 11.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a marketing thing.
Yeah, it's interesting that, because I remember saying, well, it's embarrassing, really. Well, I can't remember if that was my specific words, but I said, and I don't know, Pico, we'll see if your mic's working for this.
It might do, I don't know.
It's not, Mo, it's not.
No, okay, I'll switch.
So you have to switch. So...
No, I didn't say it.
No. Right, anyway, back to the question. So, what I find is interesting is, where was I? So we would say it was kind of embarrassing, like Jaguar should be beating the customer team, it's their powertrain, right? So it's kind of like, so let's say, well, we're kind of like McLaren at this precise moment, right? Because it's the McLaren Mercedes, and they're ahead of Mercedes by miles. So really, Mercedes, but McLaren have worked hard. It's not that embarrassing. Mercedes are still powering them, but it just shows how well McLaren have done with that powertrain. And it was the same with Envision, and I feel like that should be celebrated. And Mercedes have still accomplished something. It's their powertrain in that sense, and it's the exact same with Jaguar and Porsche. In other instances, if it was Andretti, like when Jake Dennis won the title, they're still achieving something, but I just felt this manufacturer's trophy may have caused a bit more damage in terms of, when Oliver Rowland's talking about Porsche deploying Muller to basically attack him in Berlin to try and stop him from racing, it's kind of like, that's not what you want to hear.
For sure, but I don't know if that really has something to do with the manufacturers' championship.
I feel like that helps because obviously, they can work together as well. So when we're going to work together. So you say Porsche in those first four, in that second race in Berlin when they attacked, they took the Kiros with them. Was that something that was planned? So they had those 4 cars at the front of the field.
I think so. What you have to think about is that Nico Müller and David Beckmann are both Porsche Works drivers.
Yep.
In addition to the fact that they're driving for Cupra Kiro, respectively, Andretti.
Yep.
Yeah, they got contracts with Porsche, and to be honest, other than in Formula One, the Formula E powertrains are quite cheap for customer teams. So we have, of course, that's no valid information, but I think that when a manufacturer makes a contract with a customer team, in this case Porsche, the contract contains more than just delivering the powertrain. Maybe it contains something about the drivers.
Yep.
In this case, 1 seat for a Porsche Works driver. Maybe it contains some commitments about working together in what kind of way ever possible.
Yep.
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay. No, it was something I was very tempted to ask in the team principal press conference on Friday, and I was like, because I was just thinking about it, I was like, is it, in the spirit? But then I was like, I don't know if I actually have enough information to come in with any, so I didn't want to look stupid in front of everybody, so I thought better of it. But I still think it's a valid conversation that could be picked up and potentially looked at in the future. But Tobias, we're out of time, and I know you're tired and you probably want to go to bed.
Thank you very much.
But thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, always. And we'll see you soon.
Perfect. Have a nice evening, guys.
Have a lovely off-season as well. Enjoy it.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Yes, Toby.
Oh, your mic is back.
No, I've switched it, so it's that one now. It's not this one.
You sound much better.
Yeah, because I've switched it to the one that doesn't sound as good.
Overall.
Overall, because the thing is, when this one works perfectly, it's great.
Yep.
But the connection, it's because my old iRig, because it's what I strapped to my selfie stick whilst doing Pico's Pit Walk in season 1 and my first season 8.
Yeah.
That it's just that the connection's so dodgy now that it needs to be absolutely bang on for it to work perfectly.
Yeah.
And so
at the moment it's not.
No. So I've switched to that one.
It is not. I have dragged in Zoe. Zoe, you're on the FE bar. How are you?
Hi.
And what would you like to talk about?
I'm alright. I'm kind of freaking out because I've just found myself on Nick Cassidy's Instagram somehow. But,
Happy days, happy days, happy days.
Oh,
so this is your calm down. So like, I've been on Nick Cassidy's Instagram. Oh no, I have to speak to these two now.
I was gonna come on here anyway, and then I put myself in the waiting room, and I saw he'd posted, and I was like, oh, I'll just check it later. I've got the FE bar to worry about. And then all my friends started sending me the post, and I was like, wow, this must be an incredible post. And then it's me, and I was like, ah.
Oh, we'll have to check it out. We'll have to check it out after the show once we get a chance to see it. But what would you like to discuss? What would you like to talk about?
Weirdly, I actually wanted to talk about Nick Cassidy. Wow, that's crazy.
But
we
can go back to that.
I know you've kind of already touched on it, but I kind of want to touch on a different point, which is something that a lot of people have been saying, in that a lot of people are questioning if whether or not he made the right decision leaving Jaguar.
This was going to be my question to you, so go for it.
I kind of want to say that I think he did, and I don't think he's going to regret leaving Jaguar
Okay.
because I know the car has improved, but from the way that it looks, I don't know if he left because of the car,
Yep.
if that makes sense. Like I think it was your guys' interview with him where he said that he was thinking of leaving since the middle of last year, or maybe it was a different interview. I've been watching a lot of them, but he said that he started thinking about leaving at the middle of last year, which is before the car went downhill. So I
Interesting.
don't think he's regretting anything. I think he made the decision before the car went downhill, and I think it's actually a good decision in a way, because the problems with strategy that kind of reared its head yesterday with Mitch Evans have been present for the entire time that Nick's been at Jaguar, and I think that's probably part of the reason he chose to leave.
I think it might be slightly different. That could be a point, what you've said. But what you've said is, I think, new to me. So I haven't heard the interview that you've heard, so I'll go and try and find that. But if it is the case that he's been looking to leave since last season, the problem with being at Jaguar, and I think this is the problem Antonio Felix da Costa is having, is there is no other drive. There is no other, what do I do when there's no, in these 3-4 week gaps that we find ourselves in Formula E, and where other drivers can go off and race in different championships. And I think Nick Cassidy might want to race in other championships. And by going to Stellantis, it opens the door to Peugeot. It opens the door to other brands where he can race in other series. And guess where there is absolutely no clashes next season?
The World Endurance Championship.
Yeah.
I can see that as well. I definitely see that angle as well. I think that's also a part of it. I really hope he does have a Peugeot seat next year.
I'd like to butt in for a
Go
second
on.
and say this might happen to Nico Muller, because I spoke to Toby. I can't remember which day it was. I think it might have been Friday, but I'm fairly certain he said that Nico Muller was wanted to do more than just wanted to look at other series as well.
Yeah.
Whether that was staying in Formula E or departing Formula E, who knows? But I think he wants to look at doing WAC as well. So I just thought I'd throw that nugget in.
Yeah,
That
it wouldn't surprise me if Nico Miller wants to do WEC. As
Yeah,
well.
I think now there's no clashes. I think it will be a lot more appealing to drivers to kind of like attempt to try out WEC at the same time.
Yep.
And I think that being at a team that doesn't allow you to do that is going to become a thing that maybe not a lot of people want.
Yep.
Which might make it more difficult for people like Jaguar to convince drivers to come to their team.
The one thing I will say is that I think next year people will be a bit more lax on this because there are no clashes between Formula E and WEC for the first time
in a very long time.
I want to say season 9.
You're doing very well if that's true.
So yeah. Yeah, I can see people being a little bit more lax. The only thing that gets close is that they probably have to fly after Harama out to Qatar for the prologue. That's the only thing that should.
But they wouldn't mind.
Them.
As Antonio Felix said, he's a racing driver, so he wants to be racing every weekend. So, I did try and put that question to da Costa in my question. I was like, but what if there is no team that is offering? Then that is Jaguar. That is Jaguar. Jaguar don't offer you anything, right? It's Formula E and that's it. And what about then? Is that it's maybe does he have to work his own contracts to get into it? Because obviously Jaguar aren't going to provide something. So for Nick Cassidy leaving, maybe that is the decision. He just wants to race more.
Yeah, I 100% can see that, especially where he does have a lot of sports car experience in the past. I think that being able to have a contract, I think maybe that's why he chose Stellantis specifically, is because they can offer that kind of dual program, because the car looks kind of on similar standing in Formula E to Jaguar at the moment. Obviously Gen 4 is going to be a new rule set and that development starts next year, but I think that is probably part of it. I hope that's part of it. I hope that he does get the Peugeot seat for next year or beyond, because it would be incredible to watch him do a dual program. I really want to see him race in hypercar.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of got a bit tired of kind of everyone saying, oh, well, is he going to regret leaving Jaguar now? Like, it was kind of this big thing the second that he started winning. And I think there's a lot more that goes into it than just base car performance.
Yeah.
And obviously, even though the car's gotten better, I still think it is just a very narrow performance window. It seems to, drastically change how it performs based on the wind.
Yeah. I do think that the drivers in the future will struggle, because if Formula E want what they want of 24 races in like 18 locations or something like that, and if they are able to achieve that, then over the course of a season you'd assume there'd be more races in between. There wouldn't be many gaps. So then finding time to go off and do Le Mans practice or do a sparse 6 hours might be a bit more challenging. But that's, they're hoping for the series to grow. But at this stage where the series is, there is still quite a bit of gaps between races, it's the perfect opportunity to go and explore other options.
Realistically, if there is going to be 18 weekends in a season, to have a somewhat long enough summer break, basically, there would be races that would be back to back, and from what I can remember, I think we only had back to back races
Paris and
once.
Monaco.
Paris and Monaco. I think it was
did
season 3 or something.
I did it.
But yeah,
So
that's the only time I can ever remember there being
that was good fun.
back to back races. It was always 2. It's either been 2 or 3 weeks, or in some cases 15. So yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least it feels like it.
It'll be a weird feeling if Formula E goes from like 1 month breaks to 1 week breaks. I think that will be a bit of a jarring transition. I feel like that's probably a little way away with kind of the struggles that they've had getting races on the calendar, which means that kind of a lot of people will be more used to kind of not being able to do dual programs by the time we get to the stage where it is 18 weekends a year. But I think it's way away with the fact that, like, obviously we're still having races drop out within, like, a few months of the season starting. I think it's getting 18 places to commit to it is still a ways off.
Still a ways off. Zoe, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
No worries. We'll speak to you soon. Hopefully in a couple of days' time. We'll see you later.
See you later. Thank you.
Right. Yes. Hello.
Right. So
We've got 7 minutes. We've got time for one more.
let's get Natalie in before the break,
Natalie in before the break.
because I did see a thing saying get her on some point. So
Hello, Premier in.
Hello, Natalie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well. Very well. What would you like to talk about?
So I saw Laney again last night.
Yes.
yes, that sounds dodgy. Yeah, no. I'm with your mum. That sounds a little bit sus. Well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Go
he told me. Yeah, so I saw Laney again last night when he was leaving to go and get dressed for the gala.
Yeah.
And he told me that yesterday was his last race in Formula E.
Oh. Yeah. I the thing is, you never say never. He might come. He might come back, but I think he's having a well-deserved rest from this series, because he was with Envision, up until he joined Mercedes when Sam went off to Jag, and so yeah, I don't think we've seen the end of Blaney, but I think I think he can have a well-deserved rest.
Yeah.
From the chaos of this paddock.
Yeah. But I saw him last night as the team were leaving to go and get ready for the gala, because McLaren were in the hotel by the XL. And Mum asked, and it was like, can I have another hug? Because, as you know, I like my Laney hugs, and yeah. So he'll be missed. That's 100.
He will be missed, obviously. It was Sam Bird's race engineer as well for a while. So, and obviously with Sam
For most
Bird,
of his career.
Yeah, most
Or
of his
so,
career.
2 seasons.
so Sam
3
and Sam,
seasons,
but Sam
actually.
Bird leaving at the same time. Maybe it's kind of like a little thing. Like
It's
a little,
quite poetic. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
poetic that they leave maybe at the same time.
So, yeah. Well, I can list all
how
the
was your
people he's
weekend?
I can
Sorry,
list
go
all
on.
the people Laney's engineered off the top of my head.
Fair
Alex
enough.
Lynn, Sam Bird, Stoffel Van Dorn, Rene Rast.
I'll be brutally honest. Short list, but well done.
Short list.
Yeah, no.
But the thing is, if you're with
yeah.
drivers for multiple years, then it's going to be a
Yeah,
short list.
yeah, exactly. How was your weekend overall? Did you enjoy London in general?
It was mixed for me, very mixed, because obviously the jubilation of Cass winning, then obviously it was McLaren's last weekend in the championship. Then I found out last night Laney's, leaving the paddock, and it was just like all the emotion I had held in, because obviously it was Sam's last race yesterday as well, just came out on Laney's shoulder, and I was like, I said to Holly and I said to Laney, just thank you for everything, the past 3 years especially.
Yeah, no, because it is actually really sad because that team isn't being replaced.
No.
That group of people that have been that team for the last 3 years, they will all go off and do past just you now, and so yeah, it is genuinely a shame for the members of that team, and some of them perhaps might stay in the paddock, go to different teams and everything. But for some of them, that might be it for FE, and they'll do other things.
They might get redistributed in McLaren, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying they're out of a job, but they might have to be redistributed. Who knows?
I've just seen in chat that Ed Hunter's still holding out for an Oliver Turvey comeback. So
I think that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't think
we'll see.
Laney's been in the sport for 7 seasons. That's a long time for anyone.
Yep, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It is indeed. Okay. Right, Natalie, we have to let you go.
Yeah, all right then.
Thank you, though, for coming on.
All right. See you later, boys.
See you later. Right.
Bye.
So, just to answer some questions in chat. Someone asked about Mahindra. Are they going to be in Gen 4? The answer is yes. They just do not know if they're going to be a manufacturer or a customer team yet. To answer that question, that was in chat.
And for when we were chatting with Toby, customer PEUs aren't bad to get. So
yep. So Mahindra 100% will be in Gen 4. It's just whatever, guys.
The team will be there.
The team will be there. No problem. Just how they. I saw another question and I can't remember. I can't find it now. I saw another question. It's absolutely escaped me. I cannot see it. If I find it, I will try and answer it again. I knew there was that question. But thank you very much to... please remember to hit the subscribe and like button if you are new here. We do have exclamation Discord, which is Formula Tictum, so we'll definitely get you on at some point, because we do want to talk about Tictum, but we want to hang tight for a minute or two because we should be joined by Mr. Nick Golding for Nick at 9.
Should we take a small break and then yeah.
Well done. You ruined my segue to take a break.
Sorry,
yeah,
I thought you sounded like we were just going to pad. I thought it sounded like you were just going to pad. And I was like, yeah, no, let's take a break. Come on.
Let's take a break. So we'll be back in 1 to 2 minutes, and we should be joined by Nick Golding from Racing News 365.
Naked 9. It's Naked 9. It's Naked 9.
And we are back with Nick at 9. Mr. Golding, how are you?
Hello, I am very well, thank you. It all feels quite weird that it's all done again
Yeah, I
for
know.
another year.
Time
We've only got,
flies.
how many months? I mean, we're in, end of July, so 3 months
3
until
months.
testing. So, yeah, we've got, a quarter of the year to get through until we see some Formula E cars back out on track, hopefully in Valencia, should everything go to plan.
Yep, should be. Yeah, I feel like we all deserve a break. I must admit, like it's been fast, like especially after the weekend. I've been moving like a
needed.
sloth. I've been moving like a sloth today. Like it's probably I've been at home, which is a first for me, being at home and setting up all these. And it's probably the slowest I've ever taken to set up a stream today because I've just had no energy.
It's funny you say that because I feel quite similar. It's obviously I've been fortunate enough to have done the majority of the races this season, which obviously I'm massively grateful for. But I feel, pretty tired. I did quite a lot of races last year as well, but this season I feel it's been a long year, which is funny considering how fast it feels like it's gone. But it's actually interesting because I've been fortunate enough to have been involved in Formula E as in the paddock now for coming up to 4 seasons. Well, it has been now 4 seasons, and London was the most tired I had seen so many people look. All the teams, all the PR people, the mechanics, all just looked ready for the season to end. A lot of the drivers also were pretty ready for the year to be over, for the season to be over. In all fairness, and I think the overall consensus is actually nobody's really looking forward to the season ending in August next year in London, obviously, because that's going to mean that you think about it, this time next year, we're still going to have 2-3 weeks until the season concludes. So yeah, already people are kind of thinking if we feel like this now, we're still going to have 2 more races to go this time next year. So, and obviously for next year, London.
I want to extend the calendar as well. So,
Yeah, and obviously this time next year, for London, you've got to think that's going to be an emotional roller coaster, being, the last time FE is going to race there, and in particular with that point as well, you've got to imagine next year they'll probably try and make London go out with a massive bang, do loads of events, which just means
We hope so.
more effort in. Well, I hope so as well, but it'll just mean obviously more effort, more energy. But yeah, it was noticeable that people I get to spend a lot of time with were all actually looking really tired.
Yeah.
So I think the season has come to an end. I don't even want to say I'm disappointed or gutted. I think we're all kind of ready. It's been an interesting season, and I think we're all kind of just ready to kind of get to season 12, get it done, and just get to Gen 4. And I think that's a feeling for a lot of people.
Agreed. I want to talk Sam because we've talked a lot of Jaguar, so I want to talk Sam. A little bit. Obviously, last race it's looking very, very likely. I know he's clinging on to any ounce of hope to try and remain in the series. I don't think he'd remain in the series as a reserve driver. I think that would quite surprise me if he goes down that route. But yeah, Sam Bird, what a legend. A bit unfortunate with his 2 races. Probably not the way he wanted to go out, and for him.
I mean, he was looking in race 1, set to get some big points. I think he got up to 5th at one point. And yeah, I mean, it's going to take nothing short of a miracle for him to somehow remain on the grid. When I spoke to him on Thursday, he was pretty honest in saying that, if he had to put a percentage on it, he believes he's got a 5% chance of being on the grid. So obviously you can do your own maths, but that's then 95% that he's not going to be on the grid. And the fact that, the drivers, the majority of the drivers did a picture of him, and,
everyone signed his helmet.
It all very much felt last race, didn't it, in all honesty? It almost feels like it would be weird now to see him on the grid next season.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I just can't see it happening. There's other drivers who are at a very different stage of their career and have shown more this season who are also fighting for a seat. So the only way Sam would, I think, be able to find a seat is because of his experience and how useful that could be towards Gen 4 and the development of that. But realistically, that's only going to work if he was to be in a factory outfit or an OEM for Gen 4, which, it is then just not on the cards.
Yeah.
There's only going to be customer seats available. So I just don't. I don't see it happening.
It's interesting because
go on.
no, because the only seat no one's really talked about the second Cooper Kiro seat, and we're all assuming David Beckman's not in it. He seemed like his loan had straight away finished. He already was wearing the Porsche World Championship team. He's like he'd settled straight back into his reserve driver role when he went to the media pen on Sunday. So I know we're talking about that seat, but then there isn't actually much conversation of who might be partnering Dan Ticktum next season.
I think a lot of it is because it all depends again on what happens with Antonio and Porsche, and the feeling is that's not going to be a decision made anytime soon, or perhaps it'll get made but not released publicly. I've got a feeling that, and it leads back to my point that I made a few minutes ago, that everyone was really tired, in London. Everyone was ready for the season. I think what everyone needs, particularly the teams who have still got a seat to fill, everyone just wants a couple of weeks just to
decompress,
calm, decompress. I thought Pascal in the press conference on Sunday was brilliant, joking about how much time can he try and get off without Florian contacting him. But everyone is just, Pascal in particular, given he's done Daytona, he's done Le Mans, and he conceded to me in Berlin that it was really demanding, so much more demanding than he was expecting. Some days doing 12 hours straight in the simulator, jumping from the FE sim to the hypercar sim. But it's just, I think we're going to be waiting until autumn. I really do. I just can't. Florian will want to make the right decision. They won't want to make a rash decision. They will think now they've got the titles, they've achieved that goal. They will consider all their options, and rightly so, because it's not just deciding what to do for season 12. It's likely also deciding who are going to be the drivers that help develop our Gen 4 powertrain.
Yeah.
Because for somebody, if they were to give away, we spoke about this before, let's say, for example, Antonio stays, then you would imagine he's going to have access, obviously, to testing Porsche's Gen 4. What if he then goes in season 13 to a non-Porsche team and has all that knowledge? So there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to think about. Actually, what was really interesting as well was speaking to Antonio. It was very interesting the way he was speaking about other teams and the interest in him. If he was a driver whose intentions was to stick with Porsche, that's not. Again, I don't actually really know anything on the situation, to be honest, but he didn't give the impression of a driver who wants to stick around, the way he was kind of letting it be known that he's really loving all this interest in him and wants to be somewhere where he's going to be appreciated. I thought his wording was very, very interesting. So again, I don't think we're going to get anything on the Porsche seat until probably maybe September, October, which will likely then mean there'll be other seats we perhaps don't find out until then as well. But at least that gives us some stuff to talk about during the off season.
It does, and we're still going to be busy. And I know I was going to say we'll probably still be busy with silly season stuff because the cryptic message was exactly where I was going to. Because even in our interview, we posted it on TikTok. He said, there's still some teams out there that want me, which was his words. And it's just like it's interesting because we're hearing rumors that the Porsche may want to keep him on and so forth, but it's kind of he might. It's down to him effectively and what he wants to do, and how these contracts are written with the options, because Porsche have the option to keep him, but does Da Costa break that and go somewhere else? But then the problem with Da Costa is what we were saying with Cassidy earlier about potentially going to Stellantis to go into the Peugeot WEC team and drive the hypercar, because Jaguar, you don't get many other opportunities to race, and unless you go out and find your own way. So Da Costa is someone who wants to race every weekend. Jaguar doesn't seem like a good fit.
Yeah, it's funny because Jaguar very much had been quite similar to very much a team where they want their drivers to be focusing solely on Formula E, which is very much the mantra Porsche have had. Of course, they allowed Antonio to do some WEC stuff. They've obviously allowed Pascal to do Daytona and Le Mans, but they've still maintained the fact that, to their drivers, Formula E remains a priority. And if your Formula E results start to, having if they are impacted by you doing other things, then we can put an end to that. So I would actually be quite interested to see if Pascal does Le Mans next year again and Daytona, because he loved the experience, but it was noticeable just how tired he was as well.
Yep.
And I think, as I pointed out, it surprised him how demanding it was, the amount of additional time he'd spend away from his family. I'd like to see him do it again, but it's an interesting point, because even you look at, for example, a team like Andretti, they're another team who historically have not been too keen on their drivers doing things away from Formula E, yet they're starting now to do that. Particularly, obviously, Jake Dennis has been doing his stuff in, I think it's the GT World Challenge or something, with BMW. So I actually believe we're getting to a point now where teams, as long as the calendar doesn't clash, are starting to become more open, because actually there's, as we're seeing, a driver like Nick Cassidy wants to be racing in other categories alongside Formula E, and that's one of the biggest talents on the Formula E grid. So it's a funny one. We'll see what happens. And what's very noticeable as well is looking at the drivers coming into this series in the coming years. Something that came up a lot of times in the Berlin rookie test, or at least speaking to the rookie drivers in Berlin, was them pointing out that they think it's really interesting that you can do Formula E, and there are so many drivers in Formula E doing Formula E alongside another championship. It's very interesting then that the young drivers are really seeing that as something that's possible, and that's making them even more interested to come to F1. So I actually believe we could get to a point where more drivers are going to try and do multiple championships. But again, the big thing is something that Sebastian Buemi said, obviously, in terms of him and doing FE and WEC, is that for him, he can't agree to a deal longer than 1 year, because he doesn't know what the 2027 FE and WEC calendars are going to be.
Yeah.
So it's all good having no clashes next year, but if there's then clashes again the year after, that screws him, because as the FE calendar increases and becomes more competitive, you can't then afford to miss races. And Nick De Vries is a fun example, because you think he finished 8th in the championship in the end after missing both races in Berlin. There's a very good chance, and to not discredit Felipe Drugovich, he came in, Felipe, and scored 6 points. I think he finished 7th in the second race.
Yeah.
You've got to imagine that Nick, given he knows the car and the track, would have probably done a fairly decent job. So Nick could have ended up challenging potentially the top 6, top 5 maybe at a push, which could have even brought Mahindra even closer potentially to not only finishing 4th, maybe even tipping Nissan to 3rd. It's such fine margins in that part of the championship. So it's an interesting one. That's going to be the thing that I'm most intrigued in for next year, particularly when obviously Gen 4 is released as well.
Pico, anything to add?
No, I just thought I'd just throw this in, because obviously we know, Nick, that you've been at the vast majority of races this season. I just wanted to get, because we are at the end of the year now, what has been sort of like your highlight of the season? It can be on track, it can be something weird or wacky that's happened in the paddock. What comes to mind?
My favourite grid of the season, so grid walk, it's got to be Saudi Arabia. It's got to be Jeddah, and the way they do events. I don't want to get into the political side of things, obviously, but they put on events very, very well.
They do,
and it does produce a spectacle, and it creates with that an atmosphere. And actually, I was looking through all my pictures and videos from this season on the train home from London, and it was the ones that look the best are the ones in Jeddah, because of just the event that's put on. So in terms of grid walk, Jeddah. In terms of individual moment, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I don't know. You've put me on the spot a little bit. There's quite a few.
I just thought about it. I thought, right, okay, I'm just going to throw this grenade at you. And
I mean, it was like Mitch's disbelief at going from last to first in Sao Paulo. Of course, everyone seeing kind of the disbelief on so many people's faces at obviously what happened to Pascal. Miami, and some of the drivers literally just sitting in their cars as this massive shower suddenly hit, and obviously we're not having practice cancelled. There's been so many memories in what's actually been, I think. I don't think it's been the best season for Formula E. I really don't. I don't think the Gen 3 either, whilst it's been better performance, has actually delivered better racing than we saw in Gen 3. I'm hoping that we see a proper championship fight next year, because Ollie has been the best driver on the grid. He's been the only one who's been consistent. The Porsches have tripped up at times. The Jaguars, of course, had a shocking start of the season.
Yeah.
I'm hoping next year that we get a good end to Gen 3. Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's going to take me some time to think about.
Right, just very quickly, we were talking about this a little bit earlier with Ian James. Obviously, Ian James apparently rumoured to be going to Jaguar to fill James Barkley's spot. If Porsche decide to keep, or if the Costa decides to remain at Porsche, Van Dorn, because obviously the connection with Ian James, Mercedes, world champion, do you think that's something that's going around the grapevine that might be something that could happen?
I mean, could it happen? Maybe. Will it? No clue. If it was up to me, it'd be Jake Hughes. Yeah, not a lot more to add than that. For me, Jake Hughes is who. If it was in my control, I'd pick Jake. I think Jake is such a brilliant driver. He's super quick. Has been super unlucky this season as well. Would have scored so many more points if it wasn't for things outside of his control. You know, London kind of summed that up in all honesty. So, and I want to see him given a top package on this grid, because I really believe that he could surprise a lot of people. You know, we saw. I think in a way, Taylor being so amazing has kind of made people forget the fact that, you know, Jake was actually
really good at
the driver loads were calling the best rookie in Formula E when he came in, 3 years ago. You know, Taylor's obviously come in and taken everyone by storm, but everything by storm. You know, I'm a big fan of Jake, both as a person, as a driver. So I'm hopeful that he can stay on the grid, and he seemed pretty relaxed about it when I spoke to him. So yeah, if it was up to me, I'd pick Jake next to Mitch. I think that'd be an awesome pairing.
Yeah, his manager Martin Blundell was at the track this weekend. He did tell that to me. He said, "My manager's here, trying to sort something out." So fingers crossed for Jake, because he's great with the media. I think he's a good driver in total. I think you're right.
I think he could be a very genuine contender for the Kiro seat. But,
I have changed conversation completely. I have my favourite moment of the season.
Go for it, and we'll end
go on.
It was in Jeddah. It was after the second race, and it was me and John Jackson, obviously from TalkSport, doing a recording for TalkSport at it was something silly like 1:32 a.m. on what was then Sunday morning, obviously, because the race was a Friday, Saturday due to religious reasons.
Yeah.
And we had stray cats running around everywhere. And this is while it was like mid TalkSport recording, we'd one cat all of a sudden jumped on the bench we were sitting on and started stroking up against John's leg. Next thing you know, there's bats flying everywhere. Then some mopeds just turned up out of nowhere, and it became. I mean, we spent most of the TalkSport episode.
And then you woke up,
and it was outside Arenas Hotel. It was basically linked to a shopping mall, but it just turned into just animals just coming out of absolutely anywhere. And there's just me and him in this, basically sitting in the middle of a car park, just recording something for TalkSport, as just basically talking about what felt like in the middle of a zoo. That was right up there. That was
awesome. Nick, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for coming on, Dr. Doolittle. It's been a pleasure.
No worries, and you two, well done for an amazing season, guys.
And you.
I did 2 races. I do not deserve the credit.
Brilliant coverage as always, Nick. Brilliant coverage.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely speak to you before Valencia. I'm sure about it.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye. That was Mr. Nick Golding. Then from Racing News.
I've only just saw your message. Sorry about that.
Don't panic. That's why I asked it.
Yeah.
But your question was perfect. I'm gonna get Formula Tech to me, because we love new people. And we have to find out his name. Because we prefer.
I have to ask something as well. Because
Formula Tech to me on the FE bar. Would you like to give us your name so we know who you are, please?
Hi, I'm Kiro. Named after the team as well.
Kiro?
Oh, so your name is genuinely Kiro?
Okay. Yes.
That's incredible.
Okay.
Follow-up question. I did kind of see in chat, and I've seen that everyone's got these like little side things, which I don't know what they are. But yours said Vibe, but with the A and the E.
Yes.
Which were a group from duo from Eurovision this year. Is it the same
Euro.
Yes, it's the same guys. It's the same guys. I wasn't
Yeah.
actually originally going to watch Eurovision this year, but then I
Yeah.
saw their Minecraft gameplay, so I watched it
Oh,
for them.
oh, brilliant. Yeah, no.
The biggest
I
Eurovision
yeah.
fan here is Mr. Pickering.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I'm a big Eurovision fan, so I saw the vibe. That I thought,
nice.
yeah, no, I have to go straight in. Yeah, no. The Vibe Boys are awesome.
Thank you for having me on, Jack and Jack.
No, more than welcome.
It doesn't get confusing.
Well, we call him Pico, so
Yeah.
that gets around it. Obviously, I'm assuming you want to talk about Mr. Dan Ticktum or Daniel Ticktum. What would you like to talk about?
I would very much like to talk about that. I would like. Okay, I'm not sure if anyone's read my article. Sorry, guys. So, shameless plug here. Got an article out. It's about how the penalties were unfair because I don't think Dan should have got that 5-place grid penalty.
Okay, so
I thought that was quite harsh. I thought that was quite harsh as well because was the penalty for the Mitch accident in race 1?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes, correct.
That's not a 5-place penalty in a month of Sundays.
Well, what is it?
Obviously, they couldn't give him a time. Yeah, they couldn't give him a time penalty because.
Well, he still doesn't
he
start
crashed
on pole.
out.
Well,
No.
I
I would have
have
given maybe
time...
a 3. 3 maximum.
They have given time penalties to people who haven't finished before.
But what's the
it's
point
not
in
unheard
that?
of.
Yeah, but surely they give it to them before they go out the race. So like they give them the penalty and then they crash out the race. Whereas I think this one was decided after Ticktum had crashed out. So
yeah,
I'd
argue.
But I agree. 5 was very harsh.
I'd argue a drive-through.
But he can't drive.
Yeah,
through.
no, I could see that.
But you can't.
No, a drive-through.
A drive-through for the second race.
That's worse than a 5-place grid penalty. That's worse.
It's not. No, it's not.
It
because Ticktum was running 6th after having to stop for a puncture.
Well, okay, so he would have. So you'd have him qualify pole position, right? Within 3 laps, do a drive-through penalty and be what 16th, 15th.
And
that
then
makes no sense to me.
Well, the safety car would have still happened. So the field would have bunched up and he would have been able to go.
I think a drive-through is a stronger penalty than the 5-place. I'd rather the 5-place grid penalty. I'd rather the 5-place than the drive-through.
I understand why you're saying drive-through penalty, but the thing is, on a track like London, where we saw it was so hard to overtake, I'm not sure if that would have been the one. Whereas I agree with you, 5 places was damn harsh for that, and admittedly Dan held his hands up very quickly after the race on Saturday, but I would have said 3. It's definitely not 5.
The only reason why I say it would be 3
nowhere near
5
near serious enough for a 5-place penalty.
Obviously it looked bad because obviously he's hit Mitch has spun around. If he'd hit Mitch and got away with it, Mitch carries on, I don't think there's a penalty whatsoever. But because obviously Mitch spins around, you have to give him something. I just think Mitch just I don't know, a bit slow because
he's taking that corner too slow.
There was never. It never looked like he was ever going to hit Mitch until Mitch basically parked himself on the apex or just struggled to get out of the apex. And
I wouldn't put it on Mitch because there was a car in front of him.
Yeah,
but I'd say it is not on Ticktum.
It is on Ticktum because if you.
No, it is on Ticktum. Sorry, I meant not on Ticktum fully.
Yeah, I think 3 would have been alright. I don't think many people would have complained at 3-place grid penalty, but 5 is standard, so I'm okay with that. And he did well to put it on pole, so he minimised his damage because he could have qualified 8th and started 13th.
And the amount of people that were comparing it to when Michael Schumacher got pole in Monaco in 2012 when he got a 5-place penalty for ramming the back of Bruno Senna. Admittedly, that was on purpose, but
yeah.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, no, and actually, it's kind of similar because I think London is our Monaco because Monaco for F1 is the track where you sort of run single file and you can't overtake anyone, and that's what London is for Formula E.
Yeah, I think I do want the Formula E to stay in London past Gen 4 but
Unfortunately,
not
that's
possible
not
with the
happening.
current track.
Yeah,
But if-
I
Well,
it's-
think it's
confirmed
just
not
going to be
happening.
too big. I think the cars will just be too big. They'll be too fast for the circuit, which is a shame. Like
I know you could argue Formula One cars are probably too big for Monaco, but we're still there. But
yeah,
I get your case in point.
yeah,
Especially with the bump, they have to sort that out.
Yeah. I was thinking that maybe they go to a different track in London still.
yeah. The only sort of like their best bet would be Brands, which is just outside London. If they wanted to stay within the M25, and I've mentioned it very briefly before on this show, I think I mentioned it once, but they'd have to shut like RAF Northolt for the weekend or something like that, just to do a race on the runways there.
For me. It's
Yeah,
closer
yeah.
to my house.
Yeah, and just use the runways.
Well, I mean, the whole thing about Formula E is it's street racing because it's easier to use public transit to get to. In the UK, none of the tracks, I can tell you because I've been to a few of them, are easy to get to via public transit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. We
know that.
You may not know because like I'm not sure if you've seen this before, but I do work at Silverstone, and that is a pain to get to. If you haven't got if you haven't got public transport,
haven't got a car, you mean?
Don't. Yeah. If you haven't got a car, you're trying to get there on public transport. Good luck trying to get to Silverstone.
Which is where we're expecting it to go. I can't. Yeah. If Formula E goes to Brands Hatch, I'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised, but I'd be elated.
For me,
if it does go to Brands,
you've got for me, a Crystal Palace. If they really wanted to go old school and if they really wanted to go history,
the stuff isn't there anymore.
I know, but obviously you have to make it, and if you could talk to it, and that would be something. I still think the Olympic Park in London is probably your best bet because the roads around there are quiet. To be honest with you, I'm looking at some of the roads.
Yeah, but are they wide enough?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Olympic Park massively. Massively wide enough. And also hilarious.
That's the thing. It just never looked like it from Google Maps.
Hilariously, I know there's some busy parks around Buckingham Palace, Green Park, and Hyde Park, but I was walking around London recently on a Saturday, and the roads are in the middle of the day. The roads are surprisingly empty, going in one direction. The other direction is fairly full, but in one direction it's fairly. And the Mall, like for everyone goes, oh, you can't close the Mall. The Mall's empty. Like the only cars that are on the Mall are taxis. Like.
Yeah. I've walked down that on the road, and it's just empty.
It's empty. So I feel like if Formula E, so there was an interview with Alberto Longo on TalkSport, and we are going to Silverstone, or we're going to a permanent track, right? We're most likely going to be Silverstone, because even in that interview, he kind of hinted that you kind of know where we're going, but we haven't really said it yet. But he said what was really interesting is that he said that the aim is to look, it's only temporary. It's not the home of Formula E. They do want to go back to London, but they're praying that it works effectively. What they want works in terms of attracting an audience, attracting that fan base. And if it works, then we can go back to London and say, look, we've got a bigger fan base. We've got bigger this. We're bigger. Let's do a deal and let's find somewhere. And that's what they're hoping for. If they don't achieve that, they'll never go back to London, and that could be a thing. But that was really interesting in that interview that he said that it's temporary.
The thing is, I don't think Formula E will gain more of an audience for that because it's electric street racing. That's what it's marketed as. You can't go, oh, it's electric street racing. They have done in the past, but then you can't go to a big track like Silverstone where F1 races at and go, oh, it's electric street racing, because it isn't street racing.
Yeah, but the thing is, the marketing will change. It's not the marketing's going to be around the Gen 4 car, and you know, and showing off everything about street racing is going to kind of not die, but because they don't want it to die, but the emphasis of Gen 4 is to show off the car and make the car the superstar, and that car brings in the people. if that car doesn't bring in the people, as I said to Frederick Bertrand in an interview on Sunday, I said, I feel like I've said it here, it's a Vegas roll of the dice, because they are expecting more people. Like Fred was expecting, more eyes to come onto it, but that's still out of his hands. He's expecting there to be more interest. He does admit that the sound is still an issue for those naysayers that say, we've got no sound. But he does say that
it felt very loud when we sat in there for
Yeah.
FP1.
Obviously we were indoors and it echoes, but
Yeah.
it is that thing. And even with Lucas Degrassi, in the interview that we did with him on Thursday, he was mentioning things like he doesn't know where the future of Formula E is, in terms of, is it going to get brought out by someone? Is it going to... And he threw a completely different dimension of where Formula E may be heading in the future. So it's really interesting, the future of Formula E, and some of that we'll probably find out over the next couple of years what happens. But yeah, I do believe that we're in a situation where, we are rolling a bit of a casino dice at the moment to try and make sure that this fast car does succeed for Formula E, and because it is a risk, because as Fred says, he can't ever remember a car that's faster costing less money.
Yeah.
Also, while I'm here, I just want to say, I was talking to my friend, because I went to the Eprix on Sunday, I couldn't get tickets for Saturday. We were saying that there needs to be some kind of support series or feeder series for Formula E specifically, and FG series has obviously fallen through. We've heard nothing from them since, February?
Yep.
There definitely needs to be some sort of support series to help get more fans in. Because in London,
yes.
Rizzle Kicks happened, and then there was just a 1 hour, because I don't watch F1, I don't enjoy F1 personally. There's just an hour of nothing to do after Rizzle Kicks in London.
Yeah, but you could also argue in Formula 1, I know you say you don't watch it, but after the driver's parade, you've got nothing for an hour until... But you obviously do have the F2 and F3 races that are there as well.
But they're on way earlier.
But they're on much earlier. So, yeah, there has always been a problem with Formula. We've had the Jaguar I-Pace. We've had, other
next gen was supposed to happen and then it didn't.
That didn't happen. So Formula E have always had a small issue with support series and so forth, and fitting it all in. But yeah, awesome. Kiro, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Brilliant first caller. Hopefully we get you back, and thank you very much for joining the Discord and joining our lovely community.
Yeah, I do want to say, I heard one of you guys saying something about favourite moment of the season. Dan Tickton win was mine.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah,
makes sense. Maybe we should
World
have done
champions next year.
Maybe we should have done that. We'll do that now. If anyone wants
that
to
was
come
cool,
on,
but I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If anyone wants to come on and tell us their favourite moment, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Right, we got to smash through some
Cheers,
calls.
Kiro. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thank you for having me.
No worries.
See you guys.
Bye. Right, I'm gonna get Will in. Hello, Will. Welcome to the FE bar. Still muted. What would you like to say? We'll give him a couple of seconds. Here we go.
Oh.
Hello.
Am I on?
Yes, you are on.
Yeah, you're on.
You're on.
Hiya,
What would you like
mates.
to talk about? Hello.
Yeah.
What would you like to talk about, Will?
Well, first of all, it was brilliant to meet both of you at the
Yes. Yeah.
More than
at the
welcome.
races. Yeah,
It was a pleasure meeting
it was
you.
great.
Yeah, and you.
Yeah. Chuffed about the just getting to do the pit walk, getting a quick chat with Dennis. That was great. Getting to see Bird before his. I mean, I guess he's off the. I don't think that he's going to land a seat. Seems like he's on to pastures new.
Indeed. Pastures waiting around for WEC 2027 or wherever it is.
Yep. And I just can't believe, again, as a Jag fan, I mean, I'm so happy that we got a double Cass win. That's and it's actually a triple, but obviously for the weekend it's a double. Yeah, that's just epic. It was so great. But I can't believe the Jag again wasn't able to orchestrate the race or manage it. I mean, it just seems so obvious to me that you switch the positions around in the second race, especially, right? And you have Evans go 4 seconds up the road, and you have Cass use his attack mode to defend and make that 4-second gap, and then it's all good. Then from there, you just race. Cassidy pulls ahead because he has an energy advantage. I don't know. It's wild that they didn't tell him that, didn't alert him, I don't know. Just seems, to your point, what you were saying earlier, it seems like the team, the Jaguar team was kind of built around, it was Evans's team, kind of, right? Because he's been there since 2016.
Yeah.
And then Cassidy comes in. Cassidy has he's just got a fantastic racecraft. And so it seems like they started to prioritize him. But yeah, I don't think that it's fair to Evans. I think they really bottled it.
Yeah, as I said, we said earlier, they haven't been very good. So it was really interesting because one of our media colleagues, they're in the Discord, so we'll shout them out because Tyler at Formula Source, they recorded all the radio from Mitch Evans, and we listened, so we kind of had a bit of an insight into what had happened. And there was this delay in telling him about the penalties, and they only told Cassidy about it once. So Mitch was pleading for like support, but they only told Cassidy once, and Cassidy was willing to do it. But then things happened, and then all of a sudden they made sure Cassidy won the race effectively.
I mean, my first question, even if they made a mistake. The first question is, why is there not a way for teammates to talk directly to each other, right? For if you're on the same team, I mean, it's just a technical question of the series, right?
Right.
Why?
Lewis in 2016
I was
on the
going to say,
radio
can you imagine? But can you just imagine?
God.
Can you just imagine that? Let's just put that into perspective. Like, imagine you're
for entertainment purposes, I love it.
But imagine you're behind
Why
your
not?
teammate and you're challenging for the win, and you just go under braking, boo, like you literally try and just scare your teammate so he goes into a crash and then you walk through. I don't think the teams would be very happy about that, especially when the dynamic between the two drivers, is not, might be contentious because they're both challenging for a title. I get your point, but I don't think I'd rather be wanting to hear from my race engineer than going, imagine Daniel Ricciardo, someone like that, just laughing in your ear every single time that you go, because he's trying to put you off. Like, I can't imagine it working.
But it'd be good entertainment.
Yeah, it might be.
100%. When I was when I was a kid, I was thinking because when it got to a point with technology with like phones and everything where you could like Bluetooth it and everything like that, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if all the cars had their own like phone thing, and all you had to do was type in the number plate, and then it would ring up that car. And now I'm an adult. I understand that would be a horrible idea. Because you get 17-year-olds prank calling little old ladies in their Picantos, or you get like
people shouting at you for being a bad driver.
People shouting and moaning and whinging for being dreadful drivers.
Yes.
So
it seems okay, but the implementation.
The thing is, imagine if Mick had that channel straight through to David Beckman on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair point.
Can you hit an apex anytime soon? Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were some other funny Cassidy moments when he was teamed up with Buemi at Envision, and he would say, "What is Buemi doing? Is he on drugs? What is this?" So yeah, I can only imagine if he was able to say that directly. But fair point. I really, I hope that we stay in London.
Well,
it would be
we've got
yeah.
one more year, and then that's it.
Yeah, we got one more year. At least.
I know. There's one more year, but they're gonna have to sort something out for the 27 season, and I don't know. Yeah, the pessimism in me says that it's gonna go to Silverstone, and yeah. As far as the
Yeah.
whole like Formula E and street circuit thing, I think the only one that's gonna remain is Monaco. I think other than that, moving into Gen 4, the Liberty Global's gonna be looking at.
Berlin will always be on the calendar.
Yeah, but Berlin's a strange one. It doesn't massively count as a street circuit.
I've got more chance of getting in the seat myself for a season than Berlin falling off the calendar. That's honestly, yeah.
So what you're saying is Berlin is off the calendar for 2 years' time.
No. It will never leave.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because. Yeah, I don't know. Like Sao Paulo, I assume would be fun. Obviously, Mexico is a circuit. Jeddah's a circuit. Tokyo, that'll be very interesting to see how that develops. We can't lose Tokyo. That would be just terrible PR. I'd rather have a Gen 3 Evo than lose races like Tokyo.
What do you mean you'd rather have a Gen 3 Evo than lose Tokyo? Gen 3 Evo's banging.
No, that's what I mean. I'd rather keep that car.
Oh, keep the car.
So we don't lose Tokyo off the calendar.
Why? I mean,
Did I
but
not
the thing
phrase
is,
that right
the
then?
Gen 3 Evo is a good car.
No, that's what the point was. I'd rather keep the Gen 3 Evo than potentially lose Tokyo because of the Gen 4 car.
Yeah, no, but it's supposed to be something bad. Like, I'd rather, in my hands,
The bad is losing Tokyo.
Than, yes.
That makes sense.
No,
yeah, but the other thing is also supposed to be bad.
Oh,
Like, I'd rather end up in hospital with serious injuries than lose the Tokyo Eprix. So both things are bad, but one is slightly better than the other. That's how that comparison works.
All right. I don't think it's the be all and end all.
I love it. This is all kicking off. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no. Journalists of the year, everyone. We're coming for it.
I would prefer a slower car and to keep street circuits, but that's just my preference.
Yeah. I have to go.
I still miss Rome, and I know that I'm not alone in saying that. I also would love to see Cape Town back on it.
Yeah,
but
Cape Town, you never know. Cape Town could happen. That's always a could. They're always talking to them. I know Alberto flies out down to that way to try and sort things out. But we're out of time because we've got to try and get some others in before 10.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Cheers.
No
Bye-bye.
worries. Right, we're going to get Nikki on. Right, we're going to tell you the running order. So if you're in the waiting room, this is what we're going to do. I'm making the running order as I go up, and we've decided it's going to be Nikki because we've decided that now. Then I'm going to do Ricardo, then I'm going to do Seb, and then I'm going to do Josh. Nikki, you're on the FE bar. How are you?
Hey, boys.
You okay?
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm fine.
We can't
Thank you,
massively
but
hear
it's
you.
it's been a very emotional weekend, unfortunately.
Yes, it has been emotional. Obviously, I think emotionally for you in terms of Sam Bird leaving and so forth. So, just message for Sam and you know.
No, I actually got to speak to his girlfriend. I actually spoke to Sam in person, so yeah, it was a bit emotional. And me and that we got invited to a meet and greet on Saturday.
Yep.
And I just would like to congratulate Taylor because I know what he has for a very good season. I know he didn't finish third, but he finished fourth, which I think was pretty good for saying he was a rookie.
Yep.
And obviously, and also Oliver on the world title.
Yeah. They did really well. They did really well.
It's just going to be a lot to adjust not having someone like Sam in the paddock anymore.
Yeah, it is sad to lose Sam because obviously, like, OG like me, you know, I was there since season 1, so you know, I know we've lost drivers since season 1, but you know, drivers like Vern, Da Costa, Bird, Buemi, Degrassi, you know,
He was my first interview in Formula E back in 2018.
Yeah.
I
What, Sam?
doorstopped him after he won the Rome E-Prix because I didn't
All
know
right.
because I basically fluked my way in that weekend. I wasn't with FEZ at that point, and I didn't know how the media pen works or anything like that. So I was like, yeah, no, I'll go grab him in the garage. And
Yeah.
they seemed okay with that, so great. I'll take
Yeah.
that.
I just have a feeling he might go back if he stayed in racing. He might go to the rep project with McLaren. Maybe is
Yeah, I
my
think
gut feeling.
that's what we're expecting. It's very
That's
interesting.
my gut feeling anyway.
The only place I thought he could end up is in that second Cooper Kiro seat, but obviously that depends on things happening. But then, as Toby said earlier, you know, it's all Porsche related, so some form of Porsche driver will probably end up in that second seat.
And I'm not being disrespectful, right? It doesn't want to look like somebody like in Formula One, say like Fernando or somebody. Maybe he just feels now that it's time for a new challenge, and maybe he will get the McLaren seat and have a newer challenge.
Yeah, indeed. I even thought of the
Yeah.
reserve role, but because there's no WEC, it's not like he's gonna do an extra race here or there, you know, for a team next
No.
season. So you know, for Sam,
And personally, I don't think Sam would want to go that way.
yeah,
Personally,
yeah,
I just think he needs some time off. He'll reflect over the 11 years that he was in Formula E, and I think he made the right decision to go pretty much on a high
yeah.
before
Well,
it started. You know what I mean?
yeah. He definitely wanted to stay, like, because he didn't want this to end, and he was very sad about it. But Nikki, we're gonna let you
I know he
go
was.
because your audio quality is not the greatest tonight, unfortunately. So
All right then.
we're going to let you go, because we're struggling to hear you on our end. But thank you very much for coming on the show.
All right then, mate. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Right, let's get Ricardo in. Ricardo, you're on the FE bar. I'm assuming this is going to be about Da Costa.
Well, you thought that right. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah, it's gonna be about Antonio. Basically, I'll try to sum it up because I had some points. Because aside from your interview that I saw on TikTok,
Yep.
I saw a video from the Portuguese broadcaster of Formula E.
Mhm.
Basically, I think it was just doing his report about the situation in Portuguese to Formula E. Either that, or he was reporting to the Portuguese broadcaster. But
Yeah.
either way, aside from the things he said on your interview,
Yep.
there's also some key points I took. So he stated that there's been a bad ambient between himself, Antonio, and
Yep.
Pascal the
Yep.
last couple of weekends.
Yep.
It could all have been well resolved. It could have been like pulling a little stone from the shoe, but it wasn't the case.
Yep.
And he stated that he would like to do both championships, FE and WEC. It was important for him, but couldn't do it the last few years because Porsche don't like the drivers to do both championships.
Yep.
So, but the thing is, how do Porsche allow Pascal to do Daytona and Le Mans, and then Antonio wants to do WEC and they don't let him? Just why? It's a rhetorical question, to be honest. But either way, I would like to do maybe some perspectives, because it's looking like the way Antonio is doing interviews about his situation.
Yeah.
And he kind of accepts it that he's out of Porsche. So basically, I'm just going to give some perspectives on Antonio in Jaguar. I think it could be hit or miss, to be honest, because Jaguar as a team are good, but their strategical team needs to work to have some courses, to have some training, because Mitch has been getting all the pain from bad strategies from Jaguar, and Jaguar either do a nailed on strategy, or they do like a worldly blunder.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think Antonio, like I said in the chat, could be the catalyst to Mitch's PTSD in London.
Yep.
Because I don't expect that Antonio will play second fielder to Mitch.
Yep.
But I think the work, I think the team will be much better, and Antonio being more cordial to Mitch maybe than Nick, because there Nick came in and took Jaguar by storm and the
Yep.
championship by storm last season. He put
Yep.
Mitch just like on the back foot.
Yep.
And I don't think with Antonio it's gonna be like Nick. I wish, but
Yep.
I don't think so. It could be very close.
Yep.
But we'll see. My bias says Antonio wins the championship by far next season.
Wow.
But
driving
my
for who?
bias 90%. Well, Antonio for Jaguar.
For Jaguar,
of course. Because I recency bias. Jaguar are pretty much the package to beat.
At the moment, yes.
But there is a new season. Penske could be the team to beat. Porsche finally resolved their issues out and could be the season that season 11 was meant to be.
Yep.
We don't know, but we'll see. I would like to see Antonio at his best, like this season, but all the races, because Porsche was a madness. Like I said in chat, Porsche just nailed on Sao Paulo and Mexico. To be honest, the rest of the season was a blunder. Was a what if for Porsche. But I would like to hear your thoughts, because these were the main points for me. And if I have time, I don't think I have. I would like to comment on Florian Mondlinger's comments about winning the teams and manufacturers championship.
Yeah, well, let you do that. My only thoughts on Jaguar is that he has to sort out his own drives. So if he goes to Jaguar, he's got to sort out his own drives to drive somewhere else and be allowed to by Jaguar. So that has to be written in the contract, where he can go and say, right, I'm going to go and approach this LMP2 team, or I'm going to approach this GT3 team in order to do work. So if he goes to Jaguar, he has to sort out his own drives and he has to be allowed to do that. Otherwise, he stays at Porsche.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I don't see a reason why. So the thing is, like, Porsche have been courting different people throughout this season, but I don't see why. I think, for me, Antonio's been a good match for Pascal.
Yeah.
He's been there or thereabout, and so I don't understand why they've been trying to look at other options as well. And if I were Da Costa and I was seeing that they're looking at other options, and yes, obviously there was the Nico Muller rumours that turned up in Misano a year ago, but things have changed since then. Formula E does not stand still, and Da Costa went on a run of winning, what was it, four races last year, and like, he was challenging Wehrlein up until like, he was there or thereabout with Pascal up until Berlin. So for me, it didn't make sense that Porsche were looking elsewhere. So if I were Da Costa, I'd go, well, screw you. I'm going to go to someone who wants me. Basically, that's what I'd do if I were in his shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the way he's giving is talking about to interviewers about the situation. It's pretty much like that, because he's not counting that he is going to stay at Porsche, because if he stays at Porsche, either he has basically a week of just thinking about it, and maybe Porsche has been my home for the last 2-3 years. Why not try a fourth time? And if this isn't the season, I move on, because there's going to be Gen 4. It's a big unknown for everybody. And yeah, but I think the way Antonio is speaking about the situation is pretty much he's nailed on to leave.
Yeah.
Unless Porsche try their best to keep him.
It did sound like that, I must admit. Very quickly on Florian.
Yeah, just to be quick, I think if you saw, I think it was today's post from Formula E, from Florian's comments. I think the man I think he is and the team boss I think he is,
Yep.
to say that he's proud of the whole team and everybody involved in this project, it's fair. But this season, I think he ambitioned way more. And from my side, I have been critical of Porsche all season, and I think the comments he had about the season, I think they're not good enough, to be honest. Because this season was pretty much to be the Porsche's domination, and then to be in a three driver championship, to finish third and fifth with the driver in second basically not scoring for half of the season.
Yeah, I did think, Verline finished third in a 2-horse race for a title, which was not the greatest.
Yeah, I think Florian, like I said in the last FE bar, Florian needs to look at this season and try to nail on the bad things that occurred this season.
Yeah.
Because if it's gonna be like this, that this season was meant to be their season only, I don't know what's gonna be for Porsche, to be honest. But that's it.
We'll have to see. Thank you so much, Ricardo.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll speak to you soon, hopefully on Thursday.
Yeah, hopefully, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Right, so Seb has gone, so therefore makes my life easier. Joshua Birch. Hello, my friend.
Hello, boys. How you all doing?
Very well.
Very good. How are you?
I decided that you could close the show for us.
Oh, that's so kind of you.
So
yes.
Our last caller.
So we're saving the worst till last.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. The viewers have heard all of my voice throughout the season as well. No, I'm doing very well.
To be fair, Josh, they probably heard your voice more on this channel than ours. At this point, with our simulcast of
but we are very happy
of your coverage.
And
but we're delighted to have you.
Yeah, and you've done a splendid job.
Oh, thank you very much. You guys have too, and I enjoyed the coverage from London. I got to watch between the mammoth weekend that we had. What a season. Absolutely fantastic, wasn't it, as well? Season 11 had ups and downs, but I think everyone will remember it as being completely dominated by that British lad.
Yep.
Yeah. I just want to ask, like, as a commentator, when you're calling these races, these sort of obviously the peloton ones, and when they go into attack mode, how do you sort of like process that when everything's sort of changing in a split second, and by the time you've already said one thing, something's already changed?
You're backtracking completely from the second it starts. It's unbelievable. For some reason, it was harder in London with race 1 than it was any other time in the year, because for the first time, what was it, the top 8 decided not to pit between the 60 and 40 battery percent level that we were being shown on the screen. They left it to go down to 30. So I think me, Ed, and Jess were sort of in the comment box thinking, well, do they get a penalty now? Do they not, because they've gone against what the rules say? And then apparently there's been a new thing added in that it's the usable energy that they have to use it within as well. That was not the guideline. So we were completely confused by that, and I think it caught some of the other drivers out who had to stop early. So you're working completely on the fly. And Pika, you've done a couple with me now as well. You know how it all works. I must say, though, I prefer the peloton style races, because with that, race 2, you're completely like every second there's something else happening, and you're having to look at everything, timing screen, driver identification numbers as well, and you're just literally rambling and hoping something sticks, because the next thing you say is probably going to be a great prediction or commentator's curse. I would say that what happened in London, though, is a great example of how not to run these races. I did not enjoy how there was a big difference. Porsche did really, really well, I think, with their strategies. That they had the best of a bad situation, especially in race 2 with Da Costa. I was really impressed with him. Verline pretty much drove his heart out, and I think, as you guys mentioned earlier on in the season, came third in a 2-horse race. I would, however, think the worst thing that everyone made the mistake was with Jaguar in race 2. I want to bring that up as well because they were the ones I was really struggling to call, because we were saying in the commentary, oh, well, it's simple. Jaguar now either need to let Evans go through and give him the 5 seconds, and then he's got the race win, yes, but he's secured himself and Cassidy as many points as they can for the Constructors' title. But the team decided, no, I'm not going to tell Cassidy that, even though Cassidy was ball to do it. And it was just like, it just sums up the season, doesn't it, about how confusing Jaguar have been, how confusing the run of the races have been. And I don't think we've had one race this year where we've all gone, do you know, that wasn't complicated. That was actually easy to follow in a good race.
Yeah.
It just got messy.
Yeah, it did get messy. It did get messy. I like London because they are a bit... I thought Sunday's race was a bit chaotic, but Saturday's race was fairly okay to sort of gather what was going on.
I nearly fluffed the team's championship call, though.
Yes, I heard. You thought Jaguar had won it. I did listen back.
I got really confused for a split second because I think really poor from Formula E not to put the graphic up immediately in clear line of sight, because I missed it calling the end of the race, because we got a call on the radio and I thought, that's brilliant, that's second in the championship for you, Nick, and the team's championship. I thought, well, hang on a minute, have they won the team's championship? I've done a massive miscalculation here. So I was frantically checking my notes and I wanted to hold off before saying anything, but I really thought, oh, that's a fluff moment. So yeah, I'll hold my hands up that one. I got that one wrong, but was so happy I did say that Porsche had won the title, and then I thought, oh, I've made that mistake. Yeah. But no, it was a bit of a confusing end to a confusing season, and to be honest with you guys, I don't know what your opinion is, but can't wait for Gen 4. I think Gen 3 Evo hasn't really worked. I think I'm now looking forward to Gen 4. Better tyres, better cars, hopefully some better circuits.
Better tyres, yeah.
I mean, for me,
I'm confident in Bridgestone.
I mean, for me, I've enjoyed this year more than Gen 3 because Gen 3,
the races were
the races were just. I mean, it was when we first saw the Peloton races, and I just instantly disliked them, like, because I was doing live tweeting at the time for the site, and I think it was in Portland where I just texted. It was like the race starts at 1
o'clock in the morning,
and I couldn't keep up, and I just texted Jack like, "Look, I'm giving up on this."
And I was probably, at that point, I was probably like, "Yeah, fair play."
Yeah, because like you couldn't really follow it. The thing that I've really enjoyed about this year is the fact that we've had attack mode actually means something. I think it is a little bit too overpowered. I think yes, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it's just a little bit too overpowered, and so I'd like them to tweak that a little bit. But also, finally, Pit Boost came in, because I've said so many times on this show, if Pit Boost didn't come in,
it was a waste of time.
Gen 3 was a waste of time.
I think we need Pit Boost to sort of loosen up for next season.
Yeah.
It can't be this strict because there's no strategy to it. The races stayed exactly the same. I've got the perfect analogy for what this generation of Formula E has been. It's been the PS5. There's barely any difference to what we had before in terms of the racing, and it's not going to be too different to what's coming next. It is literally the wasted generation. In my personal opinion, it doesn't feel like we've gone from the highs of Gen 2 to a confusion start with Gen 3. The Evo, the four-wheel drive, it did go well, and we all said after Sao Paulo, fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's have that every week.
Yeah.
We didn't have that every week. And the Evo's sort of been up and down throughout the year. Monaco, I think race 1 it rained, race 2 it was dry, and we all thought, okay, that was decent, but the one race of the year that everyone sort of agreed was fantastic lost some of its edge. And I feel like that's what this year's felt like. And I don't know if that's... And I can't work out how we've gone from having 14 drivers in mathematical contention for a title to just the season being wrapped up before the final race. It's mind-boggling.
I'm happier for that, though.
I'll be honest. I prefer like it being wrapped up than 14 drivers in contention
On
because
the final day.
season 7 was just an absolute mess of a season. Season 8 was when they brought in the new quali format. Yeah, that was sort of like that was the peak season. A little bit biased because I was there almost every weekend, but yeah,
Pico effect.
yeah, exactly. I rock up, and that's what makes the difference. Yeah.
Well, you know where to go to season 12 then, don't you?
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah.
Indeed, Josh. Thanks.
Yes.
I'm going to wrap up.
Oh well, boys, you've done an amazing job this year. You deserve a couple of months off.
As have you.
Oh well, I don't.
Doing the commentary and being on our channel. And that's the point. If people aren't aware of this,
JB Motorsports.
Josh, JB Motorsports. Josh does so many series. Go check him out there. But also, all the races are simulcast on Formula E Zone as well, as are the practice sessions of the qualifying.
Yeah, and bigger and better next year as well. We've already started.
We've already started planning. Yeah, we've already started planning.
Good luck. See you in testing, boys.
Thank you very much.
Right.
See you in testing.
See you then.
I'll do my face. Gone perfect. So thank you very much for watching. Obviously, first and foremost, we will be back though. Like, yes, it's the summer holidays.
3 days. 3 days.
3 days. We will be back because we will be talking to former FIA race director Scott Elkins. You will have your chance to speak to the man himself. So make sure you can think of some questions. We will help you on the day. If you were stuck with questions, we will put the questions in Discord. So !Discord if you would like to speak to Mr. Scott Elkins on Thursday the 31st from 8 PM onwards, please do join the show. But from us, though, thank you so much. It's been an absolutely amazing season. We've hit some big milestones already this season so far on the channel, and we want to keep growing because obviously, you know, we want to do this until we die, basically.
I mean, like, if I'm still here, if we're still here when I know that you've just turned 30, but if we're still here in our bedrooms chatting about this, when
maybe
we're
not
mid-40s, I feel like this is the midlife crisis happening
Maybe.
right in front of our eyes.
Maybe, but you know what? We have a great audience. We have a great community. And we have a great team here at FEZ, and you know we want to keep growing. We want to keep moving, and that's the most important thing. But we can't do it without your guys' support. And by hitting the subscribe button, that supports us massively. If you even want to become a member, you can do that too. By hitting the join button, only cheap, £2 a month is the cheapest one, and that really helps us get better equipment, better things, to make the videos better for you, essentially. But this has been the FE Bar. You've been watching on Formula E Zone. Thank you so much, and we will see you in a couple of days. Good night.